My name is John Hayward. I'm privileged to serve as president of Mercy College of Ohio, and we're here today to talk a little bit about our strategic planning experience. A couple of years ago, after our most recent accreditation visit from the Higher Learning Commission, it became clear that the college needed to focus more on institutional effectiveness and assessment of student learning. And so we engaged Dr. Steve Cady of the Bowling Green State University Business School faculty to lead us through a strategic planning exercise. We've been engaged in that exercise basically since December of 2010. That was when I appointed a strategic planning committee representing all of the constituencies of the college and asked Sister Barbara Davis, who is in our advancement office, to chair that committee. So Sister Barbara is with me today to talk about our joint experience as the strategic planning process moved forward. She was intimately involved in all of the organizational effort that moved the strategic planning forward, and so she can describe the nuts and bolts efforts that were put into it. Sister?
Thank you, President Hayward. As President Hayward said, the committee was appointed in December of 2010 and met for the first time that month. As we moved into calendar year 2011, we defined the task of the Strategic Planning Committee, which included identifying and clearly articulating the outcomes for the strategic planning process, formulating a template for the strategic plan, and then also looking at the components of that plan. After much discussion, we identified the mission of the college's vision, our goals, and our core values as key components of the strategic plan. At the same time, work was being done in redefining and clarifying what were called our core abilities and are now called institutional learning outcomes. Those learning outcomes have become part of the strategic plan. The Strategic Planning Committee wrote a first draft of the strategic plan, and in the summer of 2011, during the month of June, members of Leadership Council and executive staff met for a full day to look at the initial draft and to refine it based on their best wisdom and experience. From that document came the form that we reviewed at our summit. But I'm jumping ahead of myself. In May, we also formed a design team whose purpose was to plan all of the work that went into our two-day summit that was held on August 16th and 17th. That included defining the outcomes for the summit, all the details related to where the summit would take place, the food, mixing, table settings so that we had representation from faculty, staff, students, administration, board members, all engaged in conversation, looking at the mission, the vision, the values, and the goals of Mercy College. I'm going to ask President Hayward to recall a bit from the summit experience and what that meant to him as we all gathered at Jesu.
Well, it was an exciting time. The summit took place over 2 days, and as Sister indicated, it included representation from not only faculty, staff, and students, but board members and other friends of the college. There was, I think, a sense of considerable excitement as we gathered that first morning at the Sullivan Center at Jesu Church here in Toledo. The outcome of the summit generated the ideas and the suggestions and the questions that have guided our continued efforts over the last year. The participation level was so high with suggestions from not only students and staff and faculty, but board members and other friends of the college. The energy that was generated, it seems to me, from those 2 days at the summit has carried us forward through the following year to the point where we are now working on the plans for the next phase, having concluded our conversations this year at our college assembly, on April 16th. We will move next to what we call our Rings of Assessment Day on May 9th, when the college community will gather again to review the results of the table chats that took place at the college assembly and kind of scope out the next phase of work that the staff and faculty representation reflected in the strategic planning committee itself will take place over the summer. The plan that we expect to follow from the work that will take place this summer will constitute the final draft of the strategic plan, which will be reviewed by the entire community, college community again, when we gather in August to begin the next academic year.
The whole process has really been a collaborative effort, and everyone has had the opportunity to participate. The action teams, there were 10 action teams and 4 standing committees that really refined the areas that were identified at the summit, and now have brought that to completion through the creation of plan documents which outline the history and the outcomes and what's working, what's not working in the specific area, and then developed the next action steps. So it's going to be an exciting time to see all of that work brought together, and now the work of the individual teams will be seen as a whole. Because as leadership council and executive staff look at all of the action steps, they're going to look how they complement one another, and they will see where the actions overlap, and then how can we make this a reality as we move forward. So it's been a very exciting process, and it's certainly been a privilege to be part of it, and as I said, a very collaborative effort.
Let me just add a word of thanks to Sister Barbara, who has shepherded this whole process as chair of the Strategic Planning Committee and done a wonderful job. She has kept us focused, she has kept us organized, and the college owes her a great debt. Sister Barbara, we're very grateful for all your efforts.
Thank you, President Hayward. Appreciate